Holy. Holy Spirit. Don't get it? Fuck it's... You know, before I get into this Heaven 3D, let me explain something about awareness and consciousness. Holy. Your awareness, right? You know how your awareness is aware of everything, right? It's aware of the 3D and all the other dimensions type of thing, and your emotions and everything. Doesn't that tell you that that awareness is the I? Because that's the dead end. Your consciousness is the dead end. So like everything here is just you observing like a divine or something. There's like 3D divine, like here. There's like 4D divine. There's 5D divine. 6D divine. And it keeps going. Like the 5D divine is the emotional divine. And the 4D divine is like the mind divine. And the 6th dimension is like the soul divine. And the light divine. No? This is 3D divine. And the consciousness is like so-called God. It's the creator, the primary creator, so-called creator of everything. That's the thing behind everything, behind all the divines together, right? Isn't that the dead end, the consciousness, the source? So, now that you have clarity on this, right? Then you realize that there's nothing to fear about, or be guilty about, or be shameful about, or to grief about, or to lie about, or to feel despair about, or to be foolish about, or to have illusions about, or to be attached about, or to be judgmental about, or to be consistent about. You don't see? To have science about, or separation about. There's no, what do you mean separation? The dead end is the dead end. So if this is the dead end, if this is the main thing, the dead end, the consciousness, then everything else is an illusion type of thing. But the higher the dimension, the higher, the more real it is. The more primary it is. But the consciousness is the dead end of all of it. Type of thing. You see? So, heaven means the skies. So this sky right here, this air, all the way to the atmosphere, to the solar system, that compassion, that keeps everything connected, this thing right here, this is 3D heaven. That's length, width, the length, width, and height. That's 3D heaven, right? But it's not like the heaven's different on another dimension though. Like the sky is different. It's not length, width, and height. When you get when you go to the 5th dimension, it goes into no time, into the now. So there's no moving out of the spot. It's just this. But this 3D heaven's still real though, even if it's an illusion. It still exists. Just like the no time one exists. All of them exist. It's just that these are different aspects of heaven. Holy, because the real thing is the dead-end consciousness. That's the real thing, but everything else is just an illusion and different aspects of consciousness. This is the manifestations of consciousness. You see? Holy, so just because this is an illusion, this length, width, and height thing, it doesn't mean ignore it. Like, you have to be balanced. You see? You have to understand 3D heaven, too. And understand 5D heaven. And 4D heaven. You have to understand all the heavens. Understand all the aspects. Holy. Don't you have to be balanced? No? How can you even understand? How can you ascend without understanding the beginning? Type of thing. Like this thing. You see? But this air, this is where the possibilities come at. Like the possibilities of everything. In the 3D heaven, this 3D heaven is the possibilities of what can be 3D materialistically. Like an example. This Poland Spring bottle. You see the shape of it? Right? But if I take this away from this space, then it's gone. You see how like right there, it was just there, but then I filled the space? You see the illusion? Holy, so you know what this means? This means that this matter right here and the space is all the same. It's the same thing. You see? Look. There's nothing there. Now there's something there. If it wasn't the same, it would be impossible. I couldn't fill the space. You see the object? 3D? Because this air is what makes the possibilities of geometrical shapes. This is... And scientists measured infinity. So, there's infinite possibilities of shapes and stuff. Look, so the fact that this 3D heaven has all these geometrical possibilities, right? These 3D geometric stuff. Now this can fill in the space. Holy, you don't see? So, now you understand that we're connected to this space too. There's really no separation. It's all the same thing. It all comes to consciousness, to source, right? And now you know that your consciousness is dead end. And you're observing all this, right? So now, let me help you out with all your chakra blockages, with the fear and grief and all that. You know how, like, the fourth dimensional side of you is the mind, right? And you can imagine anything. Like, I can imagine a cup. Or imagine a pit bull. Or an Archon alien. But don't you see that when you imagine that, that's taking place in the 4D heaven? It's in that space. It made that image because of the possibilities of what 4D heaven can do. Holy. So, the fact that there's a 4D heaven, right? That can make your images possible. And while, like, the mind can do anything, like, it can imagine anything and stuff, then what is there to be scared about if the consciousness is dead end? You're just observing it. You're not it. You don't, nothing sticks to your being. Nothing stains your being. It's just, there's a separation between it. Type of thing. There's a liberation. Like, it's, the dead end is observing it. Holy. You're observing all the images. You're observing possibilities of what 4D heaven can do. Just like in 3D heaven. You see how you're still observing no matter what? At any aspect you're observing. It doesn't matter if it's in your head or out of you. You're observing an object. No? Or an image. Where in art, this is scientific art, or like spiritual art, or metaphysical art. Where it's like we're in a drawing. And it is definitely, it's like that. Because scientists said that emotions control DNA. And physical reality type of thing. While the fourth dimension can think anything. So, behind this life, there's crazy art. That's why when you smoke DMT, you see sick things. Holy, or when you project your astral body out of your physical body, you get to see good stuff. No, this is art. This is better than a drawing. So, but when you're in this art, who are you in this art? There's no main art. No? You don't see how there's no main? There's no main image because 3D heaven and 4D heaven, all the heavens, right? They all make the possibilities of an image appearing. Holy, you don't see? Like my physical body is possible to be here. Because of this space, this conscious that puts everything together. So then, who are you then? Who are you in this thing, in this art? If art is just art, there's no such thing as really being an art. There's only watching art or observing it. You know how when you look at a paper and you draw something, you're not anything in that picture. You're observing the picture. First person point of view. But when you're in this life, you're still not an art because you're observing it still. You're still observing. Who? You don't see that you're observing your physical body? That's not you then if you're observing it. Holy, you observe everything. No matter where you are, whether it's on paper or out here or in another dimension, it's always that experience, that now. Even when you're blind, you're still observing. You're observing that thing of being blind. Holy, you don't see? So if this is the case, if consciousness can if consciousness is the dead end of all possibilities and stuff, right? And if you're this body physically, then that means you could download something on your physical body. In this art, that's what the macabre is, when you can transform like a transformer. That's why there's people in Africa going through walls with their macabre body. And the original Mayans disappearing with their macabre body into another dimension. Because this is art. While there's awareness. And you can program your emotions and your mind how you want it to be. As your whole being. Holy. Why do you think you could use your mind as a tool? No? Like when you're in your, like let's say when you're in your suffering state, right? But isn't it images that's making you suffer? Or certain feelings? But then when you think about something else, like when you wish for something, isn't that an image too? It's all images no matter what. It's still all art. So, your whole suffering state is images and visions and feelings. But the images you wish are still the same thinking and same images. So what's the difference? What's the difference? What do you mean you're wishing for it if you're thinking it? I thought you said it was impossible. Then how come you're thinking that? How come you're thinking of those wishes? But at the same time, you're thinking of the suffering visions. Or isn't that still thinking of visions? So what's the difference between them then? If you're thinking both, like your wishes and your suffering. It could have been replaced. It could have been your wishes suffering. And then the suffering wishes. Because you're still thinking it. Holy. You don't have clarity of like the art. And like the 4D heaven. Where you're thinking or visualizing something. You can't wish for images if you're visualizing it already. What do you mean, I want that vision? How can you want it if you're visualizing it? Just like you're visualizing the suffering images. Why is it that when you visualize the suffering images, then you make it seem as if it's there? Like it's in the now. But then when you visualize the wanting and the wishes, then you say it's not in the now. What do you mean it's not in the now if they're both appearing in the now? Holy. Don't you see that consciousness is dead end? It's observing it. So then, what you do with your meditation, right, is you visualize what you want and you download it in your brain. That's all you have to do is download your visions. Because you want to know the difference between the suffering images and the wanting images? While they're both in the now and it's still in you? The difference is that the wanting images, right? It's there, but you didn't download it. And the suffering images it's there too, but you didn't download it. No, man, but you downloaded it. You downloaded your suffering images. But you didn't download the other visions. You don't see how we're like a robot? Other alien races made us. Type of thing. We're melanated robots. Like on some Terminator shit. You don't see? Like, we're celestial robots with spirits. Spirit means breath. Oh. And the breath is meant to, like, re-spirit your spirituality and other, like, dimensions inside of you. Everything's downloading. Your emotions control DNA. So you can feel how you want to feel. And it'll download it in your DNA. And then you will manifest your reality. It's that easy. Like, just to meditate. And download your visions. So it can be like your being. But not literally being though, because nothing stains your being. You're only consciousness and that's it. But if you want your visual reality to be different, then do that. Download it. Holy. But what you really want to do, really. But for now, you can download that. You can download visions and stuff. But what you really want to do is undownload every vision. Because you don't want some visions in your being, really. In your spiritual world. But all the suffering visions that you downloaded is not from other people. You downloaded it. Because that was your choice type of thing. That's why it's downloaded. It's not like somebody took your head and did an experiment on it and downloaded visions. That doesn't happen. Like, you downloaded it. Like, there's be some Archon aliens that can convert thoughts into you, right? But it's your choice whether you want to download their visions or not. Oh, it's all about downloading. Downloading your visions. Or undownloading them. Like getting rid of it in a meditation. When you get into void, the downloads start going away. Like you're undownloading it. You're deprogramming. You're deprogramming all the visions that you programmed in it. Holy. You don't see? We're celestial robots. The heavens is what makes it possible. In the art. Like the art appears, like it blooms. Like in the heavenly spaces. Holy. Now you know. Now you have clarity of the 3D heavens. And like the celestial terminators. Like, or the transformers and stuff. And like celestial robots. And like art. And like awareness. And like downloading. That's fucking sick. 13 love.